feedback.
Wow.
And also that I've tied up with someone Leslie of Major Street Publishing out of Melbourne, a boutique publisher.
Oh, yeah.
To publish this business book. So I'm thrilled that I've got the support and the team around me to really help take my voice out there to the public domain.
Well done for taking the step. I know from personal experience, writing a book is no small feat. There's quite a lot of work that goes into it. So when will your book be in the bookshops? When can people get a copy?
I believe middle of March. So sort of middle of March, April, but definitely before Easter. And between Major Street and myself and my website, rabbanicollective.com, you can already start registering interest for the book. So I'd really like to start a dialogue with people and continue that dialogue with people who do read the book afterwards.
Fantastic. You'll sort of build a reader community.
Absolutely.
So maybe just as we close out, tell us something. Pick something that you really like about serving your customers. You know, what really gives you the thrill in what you do when you deliver it to your customers.
Oh, that's a really good question. Although you've asked some really good questions, you've done really well at pulling my story out of me. Thank you for that. So I'd say I'm really passionate about helping people become more self-aware and personally effective. And if you think about the teams we work with, even yourself, Peter, you do a lot of work with organizations and teams. Teams are ultimately a sum of individuals. And so I feel it's the impact we can have on an individual level that is really fulfilling. And a lot of what I do, as I mentioned, is in that soft skills space. So I often go into programs with customers and clients, and I ask them their objectives, regardless of what their employers or the organization, senior personnel have given me as objectives. I ask their individual objectives as well, because I like to try and help them achieve something from the program that they want to achieve. And generally, it's in harmony with whatever the objectives the organization has set out. But I often say to people when I walk into these training programs or sessions with them, I say that technical competencies are it's really what gets you the job. But it's emotional, let's say, intelligence and cultural understanding, or those emotional and cultural competencies that make you successful in building a career. And when I feel like I've had a role to play with that at an individual level, it gives me great satisfaction. So yes, I work for client organizations, and I advise and consult senior executive teams, but it's the difference I can make to the people and helping them be more personally effective in that role or any other role that they choose to take on over their career. That helps them be more effective professionally and personally. That's what really fulfills me at the end of the day.
Wow, all fascinating stuff. Gaiti, thanks so much for coming on the show, and really appreciate you being so honest and so open about who you are and where you've come from and all the challenges you've faced along the way. I think it's been just a fascinating story. So again, thanks very much for coming to the podcast. A really, really fascinating story.
Thank you, Peter. I must thank you for facilitating such a good session to actually draw these stories to the surface. I'm not sure that I really came prepared to share that level of depth, but somehow you managed to get it out of me. So thank you so much.
Thank you for doing that. And that brings us to the end of the podcast. So again, just closing the podcast for this session of releasing the business handbrake, and I look forward to the next interview in the coming weeks. But again, Gaiti, thanks very much for being on the podcast. Really great talking to you.
Thank you, Peter.